Hello, lovelies! This is part of the speedrunning interview series. I hope you liked the interview. If you do, click the like and sub and comment down below your questions, and you might get lucky with getting an answer from the speedrunner. For now, enjoy the interview. Can you introduce yourself? How old are you? Where are you from? Please.
Yeah, sure. So I am Lucky, or Lucky Luciano. I am from the United States. I live in New Jersey. I'm 30 years old, and I play a lot of Diablo 2 specifically. And I've been getting into speedrunning and having a lot of fun with that. But that's kind of what I do on Twitch as a content creator. So yeah.
What inspired you to start speedrunning? Do you have this one story that something happened and you were like, I can do it better?
So how did I get started in speedrunning? Yeah. I played Diablo 2 for forever, but I never speedrun the game until about not even a year ago, actually. And it started when I was just sort of watching some of my favorite content creators, and then like people that I started becoming friends with. So like you said, Macro Bioboy was one of the first people that I actually spoke to about speedrunning. We were doing a group self-found together, which means we start the game from scratch and we only share gear with each other. And it was my first time playing with Macro, actually. And he said, Lucky, you know so much about this game. Why have you never tried speedrunning? And I said, well, why don't you teach me? Because it's an area that I've always been very attracted to, because I love ladder resets. I love starting from scratch, and I love getting to endgame as soon as possible. So speedrunning naturally was a perfect opportunity to learn how to do that better and just learn more about the game in an area that I've never done before. So I had this idea, and I said, okay, Macro, how about this? Macro, you coach me how to do a speedrun. And then we got BT Neanderthal, another great speedrunner content creator, to teach another streamer how to speedrun as well. And both of us, being brand new speedrunners, would then race each other.
Yo, okay.
So I was taught by Macro. Macro coached me through the Assassin speedrun. That was the first speedrun that I learned. So much information. Macro was a great coach. And then BT Neanderthal coached this other streamer, and then we raced, and I lost the race.
Oh,
but
no.
That didn't stop me. That didn't turn me off from speedrunning. I took my knowledge and I tried to perfect it, and I ended up getting a really good time. I think I'm in like the 20s, but like the 20th place for the all-time top assassin speedrun of Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction, which I'm happy with, considering the time that I've since when I started. I'm pretty happy with that time, and then it actually ended up, through that experience, I got to meet so many other speedrunners that I never would have even thought of. I've been able to do, and they invited me to participate in like the group runs, which I think I have the most fun doing the group runs. Just the whole dynamic of working in a team and rubbing shoulders with really those best of the best speedrunners and picking up everything I can from them, like McCall, Kano. I've even gotten to play with Bender, who I think is the greatest speedrunner of all time. And those experiences have all been really great, and I've learned so much from that. So that's kind of my progression has been very quick in speedrunning, and sometimes I still feel a little lost, but I do try to give it my all, and I have a lot of fun with it, and I think that's the most important thing. Yeah,
yes, absolutely.
Great fun.
So when did you start speedrunning? Like, when is your beginning date? Time?
It probably would have been around March of 2021. Yeah. So not even a year. I've been speedrunning, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I started somewhere there as well, like in February and March. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie, Lo. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. The whole idea of Macro Bioboy coaching me was because I watched Mr. Llama coach you in your Amazon speedrun. And that is what gave me, that is 100%, I will attribute that all to you. That is what gave me the idea to have Macro coach me and teach me speedrunning. And it was all because of watching you. So you said February, and mine was March. That's not a coincidence. That's because I watched Mr. Llama coach you in that Amazon run, and I thought that was great content. It must have been a great way to learn, and I wanted to learn as well. So yeah,
I was so worried.
You had a part of getting me into speedrunning. Yeah,
that's I'm blushing even more now. Oh, that's so nice. That now inspires me. Someday I will return, but right now I can't. But someday. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, I don't know what else to say. Oh, thank you. Okay. Moving on. What is the craziest speedrun you have done throughout this 1 year?
The craziest speedrun that I ever did was a group speedrun, because those are absolutely insane. I don't know if you've ever participated in one, but even if you're watching them,
it's like my dream to do it, but no.
Yeah, you should definitely do it. I highly encourage you. It was the final ladder reset of Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction before Diablo 2 Resurrected was being released. Macro Bio Boy was not feeling well, and I was asked to step in for him.
Wow.
And play with Mr. Llama, BT Neanderthal, all of the top guys to get, and they were going for first Hell Bale of the last ladder season and first Ubers, and I was like, oh my gosh, my head is exploding. I didn't have much notice at all, but I was asked to fill in, and I had maybe done 10 speedruns total when I was asked to do this. And they asked me to play on a barbarian, and I've never played on a barbarian for a speedrun before. So I was like, oh my gosh, all right, I better get to studying in like the 2 hours I have before this ladder resets, because I'm not letting these guys down. And it's actually on my YouTube, that video of me playing the barbarian, and I was streaming, but I was so hyper focused on not messing anything up in the speedrun that I pretty much completely ignored chat, and I was 100% focused on just like doing well in the speedrun and not messing up, and I didn't want to be the reason why these guys lost world first Bale or world first Ubers. And at the end, we were able to achieve both of those. I didn't hold the team up too much. I was told that I did pretty well for a first time, and it was completely chaotic. It was my first 8-man, and it was my first time playing with those guys, so I was nervous. I wanted to impress them. But it was so much fun, and I wouldn't trade the experience for anything. I've since done a number of those runs with like Mr. Llama and BT Macro, all those guys, and I feel much more relaxed now, having been through it a couple times. So my demeanor is much different now if you watch me. But that first one I was so nervous. I remember it like it was yesterday. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. That was completely chaotic and a lot of fun though.
I will check it out. I will check out, because like I'm reliving it now with you, and I want to see it. And I will relive it then with you again. Ooh, how long was the world record?
The ladder reset?
Yeah.
So I think we were at just over 2 hours. It was a race, so it was the first. It wasn't a world record necessarily, but the ladder had reset, and it was who's the first person that's going to beat Hell Bale, and then who's the first one that was going to be doing Ubers.
Yes.
And I think in total it took less than 4 hours. Hell Bale was around 2 hours. I want to say maybe 2:10, 2:20. Ladder resets are kind of sketchy with the times because servers can go down and you can have issues with that. There are a number of things that attribute to the time, so they're not always the greatest times, but we were the first, so we were the fastest of everyone that was trying. So so that was a lot of fun.
Nice. What's your longest speedrun you've done?
Longest?
Yeah.
The longest speedrun that I will have done will be probably today. Other than that, those speedruns to Ubers are the longest. the longest that I've done. I've actually never done a hell solo speedrun yet. I'd like to try to do one, probably on the assassin, but I need to learn more. I've only done the solo runs, so we're doing a 3-man to hell later today, and that's going to probably be around 4 hours plus. So that will probably be the longest. Otherwise, the Uber speed runs, they usually take around 3.5 hours. My wrists get tired after 3-4 hours. So I can't do the really long ones like McCall and Indrik and Bender. They do like 8-hour runs, and there's no way I could survive one of those. Or Ryu, I think he did like a 16-hour run on a Necro or something before, and that's insane. I'm not made that way. I couldn't do one of those.
It's probably practice, but also I think Indrik, I think he said on the Necro it was 16 or 14 hours, like his longest, because I asked all of you the same questions, right? So
right.
Yeah, like your 4 hours, you need to do better.
I need to do better. Yeah, I'm like I said, Lo, I'm not kidding. You picked I am the worst speedrunner that you are interviewing today, but I have a lot of fun with it, and that's important. But and I'm perfectly okay with that title. I'm just happy to be here. So.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're here too. It's I feel closer to you than like to Mr. Lama or to Indrik, who are speedrunning for 10 years and 20 years, and they have like the deep.
Yeah, we have much more in common.
Yeah, they have the deep knowledge, and like the interviews take hours, and I'm like, I thought this would take 15 minutes, right? Do you have a favorite act? Which of your acts is your favorite?
That is a good question.
Not as a speedrunner, just in general, or both, or...
Yeah, I really like Act 4. Even though it's the act that we spend the shortest amount of time in, I think it was after playing Diablo 2 Resurrected that really solidified my love for Act 4. And I remember this vividly. It was during our Race to World First on Diablo 2 Resurrected launch. I was playing with Dobrunsky and some other streamers, and I believe we were the first, our group was the first to kill Baal, and maybe we were close to Diablo. And I just remember going into the River of Flame in Diablo 2 Resurrected and seeing how beautiful it was. Yeah. And I really like the town in Act 4 and how it looks. I like that it's short and really doesn't hurt my speedruns too bad when we're in Act 4. It's a pretty straightforward one. And I love the Chaos Sanctuary. I just think the Chaos Sanctuary is such a staple, an iconic area in Diablo 2. It's like the best area to level, farm. It's got everything for you in the Chaos Sanctuary. I probably spend the most time in Act 4, so I think even though it's the shortest act, I think it's my favorite.
And while we're on it, do you have a favorite character and a least favorite character?
My favorite character is the Assassin. 100% my favorite character is the Assassin. I love the Assassin. I think it's hands down the best character in the game. You get 3 life per vitality points. They're so strong. They're so underrated. Claw block is like the best defensive skill in the game. It's so good. I've done a lot of PvP. I did a ton of PvP back when I played, all the time, and I always loved the Assassin for PvP. I think they just have the best like frames for breakpoints and skills, and they're so involved. You can get really in depth with the Assassin and everything that they are capable of. They're fantastic duelers. They really can do anything in the game, and I've always been very, very partial to the Assassin. It's my favorite character. That's who I'm going to play later today as well.
Nice.
But my least favorite character, I would have to say my least favorite character is probably the Necromancer, because it is my least played character as well. And I just think that necromancers are very involved if you want to get into certain like specs, and you have to use all your hotkeys, and it's too much for me sometimes with the necromancer. I feel like they're very weak in speed runs and just general progression in the game. And also the reason I hate necromancers is because necromancers were always the characters that would beat me in PvP when I was an assassin. Necromancers are actually fantastic duelers if you play on a bone necro, and I never liked facing them, and so I grew a disdain for necromancers through all the dueling and just the fact that I don't really like to use them personally. But yeah.
Can you describe speedrunning with 3 words?
Oh, beautiful, chaotic mess. I don't know. Speedrunning is the perfect combination of, you gotta get lucky. If everything goes right, it's amazing. Yeah. And at times it seems chaotic. I know maybe for, some of the more experienced speedrunners you've spoken to, maybe it doesn't feel chaotic to them, but I always feel like I am in pure chaos, and I don't know what's going on half the time. And but at the end of the day, like, it all ends up working out. I don't know how we got there. We got to the end, and and it all worked out in the end. Mm. But sometimes you get in these zones with speedrunning, and you kind of don't realize like everything that's involved and everything that you're doing to get to the end point. You just know you got there and it all worked out in the end.
If we're not talking about Diablo, what's your favorite game?
Oh, what's my favorite game that's not Diablo? I would say, so I grew up playing a lot of Nintendo games. So I would say my list of Nintendo games that I really love playing were like any of the Super Smash Brothers. I love Pokemon games. I will still play like Pokemon every once in a while, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I love those, like Mario Party, all those kind of games. I haven't really played many other action RPGs besides Diablo 2, but I did play a little bit of Path of Exile, and I think it's a decent game as well. But those would be those are probably my favorite like games that I play when I'm not playing Diablo 2. But nothing has withstood the test of time like Diablo for the last 20 plus years. I can't really compare it.
Everybody has this one or a few games that they return to just from time to time to just feed the nostalgia, right? And
exactly.
Diablo was this kind of game for me until I got pregnant. And then I was like, I'm home, I have nothing to do. And then 3 resets later, now we are in the resurrected, and it's life. But yeah.
It almost feels like a dream that they remastered this game that I've loved so much. It's like too good to be true, honestly. And all the attention that it's gotten, I never would have imagined this was even possible. When I started streaming, we hadn't even known that Diablo 2 Resurrected was going to be announced. Like it wasn't even a thing. And just since starting streaming and the announcement of Diablo 2 Resurrected and everything that's happened since, it's felt surreal. It's really an exciting time to be a fan of Diablo 2. So.
Yeah, it is.
Especially with the ladder coming out soon.
Hopefully, yes. We're all waiting for it.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. Have you tried speedrunning in a different game?
No. My first speedrun that I ever watched, the whole concept of speedrunning was never something that I knew too much about. I remember still the first speedrun I ever watched was of Super Mario 64, another game I really liked playing as a kid. And I always thought that in order to speedrun, when I watched that game, there were so many bugs that you had to do. You had to jump in a certain way that would get you through all the way to the last level. And I thought, I will never be able to speedrun a game if that's what I have to do. It just doesn't seem fun to me having to exploit glitches and bugs. But watching Diablo 2 speedrunners, surprisingly, for a 20-year-old game, there aren't a whole lot of bugs that you can use or exploit or abuse in order to get to the end game like really fast. It seems almost foolproof in that sense. Sure, there are some certain things like getting your ancients stuck on a wall so you can kill them faster. They're the little things, but nothing completely game breaking where you have to, attempt this crazy wild thing that will only get you to the end of the game 0.1% of the time, which that's what other speedruns have always felt like to me. And that's why I was never interested in them. But Diablo 2 speedrun doesn't seem to really fit that mold. And I think that's another thing that attracted me to them so much. Also, there is a layer of luck involved, and that comes with your drops, though, and not having to exploit some bugs. So you still have the luck factor, but it's not the same as what I consider a lot of other speedruns to be, which are just bug exploits and whatnot. So no, I actually haven't, but and that's because I think the Diablo 2 speedrun is pretty special.
Is enough,
when I compare it to other speedruns.
Yeah. What are your top 3 tips for a starting speedrunner? As someone who wants to start speedrunning now in Resurrected,
for someone,
I guess.
There's no better time to start than right now. Do your first speedrun. You honestly just get into it. You don't even have to watch a video. Like, just try it for yourself and see how you do. Get your baseline. Then watch, learn. Watch the best of the best speedrunners, see what they do. Watch average speedrunners and see what they do. You will learn so much in just your first 5 or 10 speedruns, and then watch your times improve from your first attempt, knowing nothing about speedrunning or knowing very little. Watch your times grow and measure. Don't measure yourself against these other like pros. Measure them against. Keep track of your times. Measure against your own times, and then watch your progression. As long as you are improving your time, then you're getting better. And you really, there's no need to attempt to compete with really the best speedrunners ever when you're just starting out. You're competing with yourself, and always learn more. Like I said, like my whole strategy in speedrunning has been, surround yourself by the best speedrunners, and maybe some of their skill will rub off on you. So that's kind of how I've approached the speedrunning thing, and I think that was at least 3 things. So so that's what that's my answer.
Very wise and very deep. Yeah, very true as well. And yes, I mean, me as the Amazon. First, everybody was like, don't do Amazon. I'm like, no, I'll do it because I love her. Second, I was comparing against Makeup's Amazon and Bender's Amazon, which is amazing. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I mean, I consider Makeup as my coach. I mean, he's there most of the time if I do it. So I know great. He's a good Amazon speedrunner, so I trust him.
He is a good. He is a great everything speedrunner. Honestly,
he's super multi-skilled in everything.
He can play anything. Yeah, Macabre is amazing. I would say other than Macro Bio Boy, he's probably one of the most influential speedrunners that I've had. Personally, that I've been able to play with as well. Yeah, I owe a lot to Macabre. Kano's taught me a lot. Gymnasium for the 8-mans. Yeah, a lot of great. It's so nice. The speedrunning community is so friendly. And if you are trying to get into speedrunning, like, I would recommend just hanging out in, one of their Twitch chats and ask them questions. They're always most of them are always very receptive to questions. They want to help other speedrunners. It's great for everyone. The more people that get into it, and those guys we just named are great examples of really top tier speedrunners that are always willing to help, and I'm very appreciative of them as well.
Yeah, I agree totally. Yeah. Okay, I have a few other questions that are not related to speedrunning. They're just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
If you had unlimited resources, where would you live?
Oh my gosh. Oh man, if I had unlimited resources, where would I live? So my wife and I have traveled a decent amount. We've been to Italy a couple of times, France, Japan.
Nice.
If it were up to my wife, she would probably want to live in Japan, in like Kyoto. I think that was her favorite, and I might have to defer to her when it comes to where we're gonna live. But if we're up to me, I always really liked Italy. It's actually where my family is from. I still have family there.
Nice.
The best food you'll ever get, and it's so cheap. The wine is cheaper than water there. I like it a lot, but so those would be like our top two. If it were in like the continental United States, I really like the West Coast. I just so happen to be born on the East Coast, but like California is beautiful. The weather's always great. Somewhere where the weather's nice and the food is good, and then I'll be happy.
So, do you know any other languages besides English?
I do not. No. I only know English. I can understand a little of Italian. I took so many Spanish classes as a kid, but I couldn't speak it to save my life. So I can only speak English. No, I would love to know another language though.
What do you like to do in your free time? And like, if you had a week off of everything, what do you do? What would you like to do?
Okay, so I said before I like to travel, so we've been a lot. We usually like to do an international trip like every other year. COVID has really stunk in that regard, and we haven't been able to do one. Our last trip was to France, and that was great. Nice. But when we're not traveling, we have a home in the mountains that we like to go to do all types of like skiing and hiking. I do some fishing myself, and yeah, so we have like a little mountain home that we go to every so often to get our fill of the outdoors. I really love skiing. It's so fun. Unfortunately, we can only do it so many months of the year, but it's something that we enjoy a lot. And if I could have a mountain home, a beach home, then I would be all set. I could go to the beach during the summer and the mountains during the winter.
Nice.
That's all I need.
How many countries you've been to? Or can I ask what's your favorite country or place, or something that you have been to, or somewhere that you want to actually go and you haven't been to? Just tell me more.
Yeah, so I've been to Italy, France, Japan, Canada, and I live in the US. We're supposed to go to Mexico, but COVID kind of ruined those plans. I think we probably will go there soon, just for like beaches and stuff. But my favorite was Italy. I said it before. I have family there. I've been there the most of any other country. That's my favorite. Where can we go next? Like I said, we were planning on going to Mexico, but my wife is actually, she was born in America, but her family is from Vietnam originally. So she really wants, and she's been to Vietnam a million times. Yeah. And it's very, very beautiful, and again, great food. And we do want to go there as soon as possible. It's just, it is a difficult country to get to, especially now. Yeah. The flights there are really tough to get, but it's on our list. We'll get there soon.
Someday. Yeah. What is something that your audience doesn't know about you?
Oh man.
Give us a little secret.
I'm very open with my audience and my following, but there's gotta be.
That's why I have this question.
Yeah, there's gotta be something. Oh man, I haven't even thought about it. Something that my audience doesn't know about me. Okay, how about this? So I have a finance degree. I also have a master's in business. Most of my following already knows that, but I've never told anyone that when I was in the 6th grade, I was entered into a nationwide stock market competition where you pick 5 stocks and they track them for like 2 months, and whoever has the highest value of their stocks at the end wins. And I got first place, and I was across the entire country. Our school got an award. I got like $500 at the time, which was crazy for like someone in 6th grade. I was in the newspaper, and I had the trophy was literally taller than I was in 6th grade. So that was kind of like my 15 minutes of fame way back when, and kind of relevant to like what I do today in my real job. So that's always a cute one.
Yeah, sounds great.
I've never told that story on stream.
Nice. And my last question is, which other speedrunner I should ask to come to an interview? Who would you recommend?
Oh, well, it sounds like you've got...
If like, you don't know who I got, just one person.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I would have said Macro. I know you already interviewed Macro.
Yeah, okay.
But
yeah.
I think just Macro has one of the best personalities of any speedrunner that I have. I think he would do really well in this interview. I've heard him in interviews before. He is so well spoken.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a great segment that I'm looking forward to watching your interview with Macro, especially. So that is who I would say, even though I know, he's already on your list, but I think he's one of the more entertaining speedrunners personality wise. I'm a big fan.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. If it was a Macro?
If it wasn't Macro. Okay. Let me think of other speedrunners. I would...
It's okay.
You've already named like all the speedrunners that I usually run with.
No, actually, I see a lot of new names when you do the 8-mans. I mean, you're not...
Really?
On the last 8-man you had, I think I had 3 new names that I've
never... Did you reach out to Kano already? Did you reach out to Kano?
Yes. He said he's not speedrunning anymore, so he doesn't want to do it, basically.
He's so dramatic, I swear.
And then he
says
came
that.
to
He's
you.
literally speedrun after that, yeah.
Literally, he then came to you, and I was like, should I poke him now? But I'm like, okay, I will leave the man alone. Yeah.
Kano can get moody.
Yeah, it's okay.
No, Kano's a great guy. I love him.
Yeah, I learned a lot from him as well. Yeah. So I really wanted to, even though he only does Druid, I really wanted to,
okay, so some of the guys that I speedrun in the 8-man, if you haven't asked like Gymnasium, some of the other guys in that group are Nano BT and Sudden Dan, and those two have been involved in those 8-man speedruns since before I can even remember, like way before my time. They are so experienced in those runs, and they don't really get as much credit as I think they deserve for how great they are and all the experience that they have in those runs. And it's because they don't really run solo as much.
Yeah.
But I think that they could provide you a very unique perspective when it comes to speedrunning, approaching it more from like the team perspective rather than the really good traditional solo speedrunners.
Yeah.
So those names were Nano BT and Sudden Dan. I've had nothing but great experiences and conversations with them. I love playing with both of those guys, and I think that they would be great and give you a different perspective. So
great. Thank you for that.
Two. Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's say the interview is here. Can we conclude it? Do you have final words for the final lines for the end of the interview?
Yeah, so I'll just say thank you again, Lo, for inviting me to speedrun. To interview about speedrunning. Considering that I am, I don't consider myself to be that great of a speedrunner, but we've ended up being able to do some pretty crazy speedruns. We didn't even get to talk about the Twitch Rivals event. We came in 3rd place and and I guess I'm technically a professional speedrunner if I've won money, because there was a huge prize for that race. But all I can say is, thanks again for the opportunity to do the interview, and I'm honored to be one of the names in the long list of names of people that you're interviewing, because there's some really great guys in there. And if you guys want to learn from real speedrunners, then watch those videos and not mine.
Thank you so much for that. Oh, that was great. That's amazing. Ooh. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked it. I will see you next Wednesday for more interviews. Don't forget to like and sub and comment down below. See you. Bye.